Well, Pat Olson alongside Jim Bravelli as we bring you the Pat and Jim show remotely here as the Dons get set to open up West Coast Conference play. Jim, as we jump right into it, USF opens, Thursday against San Diego. It's a 2 p.m. game on New Year's Eve day. For those interested, we'll have the broadcast on the radio side on KNBR 1050, and we'll have a video stream as well. But Jim, before we get to all that, USF finished their 10 non-conference games, 6-4, tough schedule. They played on the road at a couple of Pac-12s, including on the road at a very good Oregon program, knocked off Virginia at the time, a top 5 team, still ranked in the top 25. It was a tough schedule along the way for USF, and I thought a great job by Todd Golden and his staff, Jim, to be able to get this schedule put together given the COVID situation we've had.
Yeah, Pat. Well, the hardest thing this year, and it's for everybody, is the COVID problem. And what USF has done, and Todd and his staff, is really keep everybody going. I mean, they haven't had to cancel a game or postpone a game on their side. They've had to postpone a couple games on the other side. But I'll tell you, they've just done an exceptional job, and it shows that they've been able to get at least 10 games in pre-conference, and that really is good. And it's going to help them down the road in terms of what you've got to learn together as a unit, because they have a couple new people on the lineup there. And the team has done very, very well. 6-4 in pre-conference is exceptional with the strength of the schedule that they've had to play. Heck, when they go all the way to the East Coast and knock off a Virginia team, and then, really competitive in that entire tournament back east, and then come back and you go at Oregon, at Cal, and, so really tough games. So they've done a really good job. So 6-4 is good, and they've competed in every game. They're a consistent basketball team. And you've got to be tough-minded, I think, this year. You can't think, as some teams might think, as woe is me because this game is canceled or that game is canceled because of COVID. You've got to battle your way through it. And that's up to the coaching staff to keep your guys focused, even though there are some serious problems here. And boy, they've done a great job. And 6-4 is great going into league play right now.
Jim, and part of that 6-4, the 10 ball games, USF only played one home game. And while home games are a little bit different this year because you don't have the crowd behind you, you still get to play in your own building, shoot at your own baskets, the place you practice on a regular basis. Obviously, that's some adversity that this USF team has fought through. And now of the remaining 16 conference games, they get half of those at home. It'll be, kind of a nice homecoming, so to speak, no pun intended, for USF on Thursday.
Yeah, it'll be nice. But you know what the road games have done, Pat, really, is when you go on the road, you get to know your team better and your individuals better and your staff better. You build a little bit of camaraderie. So that's all good team stuff. And now you come home and, yeah, you do feel more comfortable, but you're maybe a little more tough-minded mentally because you've had to go through these tough situations and all of the COVID protocols that, you've had to do on the road. So now they come home, feel a little more comfortable. They've been there. So I'm sure they feel good about themselves going into conference play. It's a pretty veteran team with the exception of a few new players. And they're playing very, very well together. It's really a team that, how you go with your guards, with Milstead and Shabazz and Bouye, they're exceptional guards and probably three of the best guards in the conference. And, with one exception, I guess you got to look at Suggs up at Gonzaga. But, the USF guard play has been exceptional. And some of the front line play that USF has had has really come along with Reebney shooting threes. And, of course, Tavi has really come along on the defensive end, blocking shots, and he has made some big threes. How about the Virginia game for Tavi hitting the big three? Then you got Coonan shooting a high percentage from three. So USF's offense is really based on a lot of three-point shooting, but they're very, very capable of making those. In fact, who would you key on if you're playing against USF to double team or defend the three better than others? And you really can't because all of them shoot three ball well. And so it's a real good team effort and a lot of camaraderie there. So it's good going into the league feeling this way.
Yeah, the USF Dons at 6-4 as they open up West Coast Conference play. It's a Thursday afternoon game against the University of San Diego. Pat Olson here with Jim Bravelli as we look ahead to West Coast Conference play. Jim, let's look at just a bit around the league. Obviously Gonzaga, number one in the country. We'll get to that matchup that USF has on Saturday in a moment. And then you got, BYU, St. Mary's, USF right there. It looks like, is it going to be more of the same, or is someone crack into that upper three this year? We say this every year, right, when we do these interviews and these type of programs.
Yeah. Well, until somebody does, it's probably going to be the same. But, I've broken it down, Pat. It's pre-conference right now, and I've looked at this lineup here. I've written it down, so I don't want to miss anything. But I've kind of looked at the top 5 teams, in my opinion. And for this reason, I've only seen the top 5 teams that I'm putting down. I have not seen Santa Clara, Pacific, Loyola. I saw USD against UCLA, their very first game. So, and they have a local player here, Calcaterra, fine shooter, 6'4" player. So I watched USD once, and then Portland. So those 5 teams I have not seen, so I can't evaluate them. But, I look at the top 5, and I've seen them a number of times. For example, we'll start off with Gonzaga, the normal team that's been winning this conference for a number of years, and now number 1 in the country. And I'll tell you what, it's a deserved number 1 in the country. They beat nationally ranked programs all along the way in their pre-conference. So you look at the teams, the individuals that they brought in this year. Suggs, for example, he's got to be one of the best freshman guards in the country, if not the best point guard in the country. He's a guy that's athletic. He's quick. He leads. He shoots, penetrates. Then you've got Timmy coming in as a sophomore. He's 6'9", 6'10". He knows how to handle himself inside with great football, ball fakes, up and unders, and he can face the basket outside. Then you got Kispert, who broke a 3-point record the other game, the last game that they played. He now is really coming into his own. He's been there for 3 years. And so you look at this team, and it's deservedly number 1 team in the country. So as far as the WCC, boy, I'll tell you what, you've got to give it to Gonzaga as number 1. In fact, if you look at the Virginia teams, Gonzaga and USF had beat Virginia, and they've lost to 2 WCC teams. So it really helps our conference, I think. So pretty good. But now you go down a little bit, and I look at the next group. I'm throwing USF in on the tops up there. And I think I've seen BYU about 3 or 4 times. And in the beginning, when I saw them, I said, USF is, capable and really able to beat this team, the BYU. Then I saw them a couple other times. And, for example, the San Diego State win that they had at San Diego State, that was a great win for BYU. They're big. They're strong. They push the ball. They play better defensively. So to me, personally, between BYU and USF, they're going to battle for second place. And those are 2 fine teams. BYU is definitely a tournament team. And when I put USF up there, if they continue to play consistent and really play with each other all the way through and play each game one at a time and battle, they're going to be right there up there with BYU in that fighting for that second place position. That's my personal opinion. BYU has a kid by the name of Harms, a 7'3" transfer from Purdue. Very good. Barcelo is back. So they've got a couple veterans there, but they've got great size in there. And USF's going to have to really defend well inside and take away their transition baskets. They're another great transition team. In fact, if you look at transition teams in the WCC, Gonzaga is probably the best transition team in the country. They transition by the pass. They get it down. They just relentless. They get the ball down to score, find some easy baskets. The second and third team here in the WCC are BYU and USF. They do a great job of pushing the ball, whether it be a made basket, a missed basket, or a turnover. So all 3 of these upper echelon teams, boy, they can really push the ball very, very well. Then the next team I look at, Pat, is normally St. Mary's. Every year, year in and year out, the coach has done there a great job with that program. And, he's got a walk-on here, Kusei, who has really become a leader of that team. In fact, 2 of the best walk-ins he's ever had is Todd Golden and Kusei.
Yeah.
Todd playing over there and did a great job walking on and really turned into all-league players, both of them. So, but I look at St. Mary's next. They control tempo. They have great spacing. They defend well.
Yeah.
You have to beat St. Mary's. They're not going to beat themselves. So you really got to play a sound basketball game with no mistakes against St. Mary's. And then finally, I look at Pepperdine on the top 5 echelon there, and Pepperdine's very, very talented. I mean, they've got skilled players. Edwards and Ross are all league players, but they've been inconsistent, and they were really good last year, and they caught fire a little bit at the end of the season because of their talent. They've got great talent again coming back this year. But in order to jump over the teams ahead of them, the St. Mary's and USF BYU, they got to be more consistent in conference play. And right now, pre-conference, they haven't proven to do that. So I'll put them down a notch below those top 4. But anyway, that's what I'm looking at for the WCC. And this conference, boy, I'll tell you what, is once again one heck of a basketball conference.
Yeah, it is every year. Jim Bravelli, Pat Olson alongside as we look ahead to the West Coast Conference opener. The Dons finished their non-conference at 6-4. Tough schedule along the way with 4 games in Connecticut in 5 days to open up the season. The win over Virginia amongst the highlights of that trip back east. And then USF continued to go on the road, won big at Nevada in Reno. Tough losses on the road at Cal, at Oregon, but it was a tough schedule for Todd Golden's group as they get ready to open up West Coast Conference play. Jim, I mentioned the record. USF has played 10 games. They're 6-4. San Diego, as they get ready for the opener, they were hit by COVID at the start of the year. It derailed them for the 2 weeks. You mentioned you watched their opener against UCLA. By that time, USF was like 5 or 6 games in. How much of an edge can that give USF, given the fact that Todd Golden's group has a few more games under their belt at this point?
Well, in terms of USD, I think it's a tremendous edge because USD has, I believe, 9 new players on that team from last year. They really had to do an overhaul. So they really have an opportunity to play many games together. And watching them in the UCLA game, they've got some talent there. They really do. I don't know where they're going to go for scoring other than Calcaterra. I think he scored 14 in that UCLA game. But they have people on that team that can really score, and but they don't know where to go with it yet. And the only way you're going to find that out is to play some games. So that's a work in progress. And so hopefully the USD can get more games in. They just had too many missed games because of COVID. Well, heck, Gonzaga had to miss 2 weeks or 10 days from COVID. Also, USF's been very fortunate and done an exceptional job with their protocol.
What do you expect in that San Diego game, Jim? Obviously, the Dons will be a prohibitive favorite. They'll be at home. They've played the more ball games. It's a veteran group, but you still got to lace them up and go play, right?
Yeah, well, the thing is, and I know Todd feels the same way, and his coaching staff, they've done such an exceptional job. They worry about themselves. We've got to play how we play best and really utilize our system. And we talked about this the last time we talked about, Pat, when I look at the USF team with breaking it down to offense, defense, and transition. Offensively, they're a team that spaces well. They have player movement. They have ball movement. They have good on-ball screening, off-ball screening, but they really move and crisply pass the ball and make their cuts. They're very difficult to defend against, because you can't really key on one guy. And then, of course, you got the guards who can really dribble and penetrate to the rim and draw and kick and finish when they have to. So it's a really tough team to defend. And then, of course, they got the 3-ball. They're always looking for the open 3-ball on the extra pass, and it's open, and every one of those guys can hit it. And all you need is 1 or 2 of those guys to get hot each game, and you never know which one it's going to be. So really a good team. USF is. So I think Todd worries about himself more than he's going to prepare for USD and what he thinks they do best. But in terms of the game itself, I think if USF plays their game to their strength, and the second area is transition, which I think USF does tremendously by pass, going in transition by the pass, much the same as Gonzaga, and they're very relentless when they move the ball in transition and get it down the floor looking for easy baskets. So that's difficult to defend against also. And then defensively, they're very sound. Todd does a great job with his staff to really prepare on his opponents in terms of where they want to go with the ball. And USF really keeps the ball in front of them to really contest shots and rebounds. So they do a good job there defensively. So all three categories, I think that USF is very sound.
Jim, final comment from you. I know when you coached, you always thought about that next game. You didn't look beyond, but, us media guys, we can see that game Saturday that's kind of lingering on the schedule. USF goes to Spokane. They play at number 1 Gonzaga. Obviously, that game presents a tremendous opportunity for this USF team, and we know the challenges of trying to win up there in the Northwest.
Yeah, it is what it is, Pat. They're number 1 in the country. They haven't lost a game, and, they've played against nationally ranked teams. They've always been very, very good at home. Heck, every team that goes up there is in for a tough game. And, they come into this league and they don't let down. And they just keep going. So, yeah, you're going up there. But you know what? This is what you want. This is what you play for. This is what you coach for. Let's play against the best. So, it'll bring the best out of you. So, again, I go back to let's worry about what we do. We know we're playing against a good team. It's a road game. Okay, that's a given. Now let's do the best that we can do with what we have and what we're capable of doing, which we know we haven't found out yet what we're capable of doing. We know we're sound and good, but we can get better. And this game will help us get better. And you never know, because when you make shots, and USF takes a lot of threes, if they make threes, they're going to be in the hunt. So we just got to take it one game at a time and just prepare that way and worry about the first one, the first game.
Jim, it's going to be a fun year in West Coast Conference play. Always fun talking basketball with you, and we'll do this again in 2 or 3, 4 weeks down the line.
Hey, looking forward to talking to you, Pat. I haven't seen you very much this season, so we just got to zoom up, I guess. That's great.
Yep. It's a different world. Welcome to the Zoom world, right?
Yeah. But have a good call, Pat.
All right, that's Jim Brivelli. I'm Pat Olson. Again, the Dons open up West Coast Conference play at home Thursday against the University of San Diego. We'll have the broadcast on the radio side and a video stream. Join us at 1:45 p.m. on KNBR 1050. Next to the veteran coach, Jim Brivelli, I'm Pat Olson. Thanks for watching right here on USFDons.com.